Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about file detection in Python. So file detection is basically just like it is in the name, it's to detect a file. So here in my desktop I have a folder named example. Inside the folder named example I have two things. One is a text file called text and one is a folder called folder. So if you right click on it and go to properties, you can see the location, also known as the path. And same thing for this one, right click, go to properties, you have the path. So if you copy paste it here, it'll take you to, it'll give you this, and then you add in the example folder that is in the desktop and you add in the file you want to look at. And you have to use double, I forgot what these are called, double slashes. And it's going to give you single slashes, but you're just going to have to add a slash because that's just how it is in Python. So we have two paths. One is for the text folder, and one is for the folder. Cool. So we want to detect first if it's there or not. So if os.path, oh, and I forgot you have to import the OS, which stands for operating system. So if os.path dot exists, and you give it the path, which is path1, which is right here. If it exists, what do we want to do? We want to print this file exists. Cool. And inside that if statement, we want to write another if statement, which is if os.path dot is file path. You have to add in the path one as an argument. Then what do we want to do? We want to print that is a file. Okay, so what this is doing, let me just explain briefly. If os.path.exists, so this is checking if the path exists. Print the file exists, or the path, sorry, the location I should say. It exists. If it doesn't exist, it's going to move to the else statement, but we don't have an else statement right now. We have an ested if statement, and we're going to check before we move to the else statement right here if the path is a file or not. So maybe it's a location, yes, but it's not a file. So we're going to check if it's a file, and then we're going to print that it's a file. So let's do that. This location exists, that is a file. Okay, cool. Now let's change it to path2. Or actually path2 won't do anything, but let's add an else if statement. Else if os.path is dir. Dir stands for directory. And then we're going to add in the path argument, path1. We want to print it is a directory. Let's run it again. This file exists. Oh, I forgot to add the dot here. Sorry. Oops. Okay, cool. That is a file and it exists and everything is cool, but it's not executing this. Why? Because it's a text folder, or a text file, sorry, not a folder, not a directory. So if we change it to path2, sorry, I forgot to do it here as well. Path2. Okay, so I made a little bit of a mistake. I had the .dir here, but you're not supposed to have that. So just put folder for if it's a folder and it should work. Okay, so first let me run it back again. If os path exists for path2, which is the folder, as you know, it's gonna check these two, or it's gonna enter the inner loop. Cool. If os path is a file, then it's gonna print it's a file. If it's not a file, it's going to move to the else if statement, which is if it's a directory. So it is a directory because a folder is basically a directory, then it's going to print it is a directory, as you can see right here. If we change it to path1, then it prints out it's a file, not a directory. Okay, cool. And then finally we have the else statement, which is going to print that location doesn't exist. So if I change it to we have path1, so I guess I can say text1. It's gonna say it doesn't exist because there's no such thing as text1 in my folder. And that's basically it for file detection in Python. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned something new. If you did, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more computer science content. And as always, the full code will be posted in the comments down below.